Hello, welcome to a Super Rugby launch with a difference, a virtual launch for the first time. Thanks everyone for being a part of it. We are live across Rugby.com.au's Facebook page. It has been very, very long. Super Rugby AU is back on Friday. We've been watching the Kiwis go around for a couple of weeks now, and now is our turn. And it is significant. I think the Super Rugby AU is just second professional rugby competition in the world to get restarted. So the eyes of the world are going to be on our game in our backyard. It is a great opportunity to showcase Australian rugby. Now, the Western Force are back. You would have brought up with that news, of course. And with an injection this time of international experience, they will be a formidable outfit. They join the Reds, the Waratahs, the Brumbies, and the Bulls. Now, the captains and the coaches from all 5 teams will be joining me shortly. So 5 Aussie teams, home and away competition, every game to be broadcast on Fox Sports on Fridays and Saturdays. It is a fresh start. There are no carryover points from the Super Rugby played earlier this year. That's good, of course, for some. Not so good, perhaps, for others. The top team after the regular season will host the final on September 9th, winner of a playoff between the teams finishing second and third. And there's been some making of the laws as well. I don't know whether you've caught up with that, but I think we're all keen to see how they might impact the game, and of course, spectacle. That's what that's all about. So there is a lot to look forward to. Let's get amongst it and get a word with the men who've sat and they've waited so long for this Super Rugby reboot, and they are finally being given the opportunity to do what they do best, and that is play some rugby. From the Waratahs, a very warm welcome to their skipper, Rob Simmons, their coach, Rob Penny. We're just having a few little technical issues with Rob's connection at the moment. So, Rob Simmons, you are carrying the Waratahs organisation this afternoon. Welcome to you. Simple question first up. It's a preparation that I'm sure you've never seen before. Not just the playing and the training aspect, but also the logistics as well. What's it all been like, Rob? How have you coped the last few months?
I'm having some issues here too, Nick.
Rob, can you hear me? Did you hear the question there? No, it looks like we're having some issues.
It's pretty much a reset button for us. It's something I never have done before.
I think we might be having a few issues with the Waratahs there, and just Rob's connection. So while we
cutting in and out a bit, but I think I got the question. Yeah. Essentially, it was a reset button for us. We got to, we were one of those teams that are pretty happy that we get to start again, and we're basically.
Yeah, no, Rob, I think we'll leave you there, and we might try and improve that connection at some point. So. Just a couple of technical difficulties with Waratah. So while we get the Sydney connection sorted out, let's head to Brisbane. Of course, you're watching the launch of Rugby Australia 2020 live on Rugby.com.au's Facebook page. Brad Thorne's got a sneaky little grin there. He can see the issues at play. So you guys are in the hot seat. Thanks very much for joining us. Tars heading to Brisbane on that unusual road trip where they will take on the Reds. A very good afternoon to Brad Thorne and to Liam Wright. Brad, to you first up. You have seen just about everything there is to see in rugby, but nobody's really seen what we've been going through these last few months. What's been the biggest challenges for you and the group?
First of all, it was just, being in isolation. The guys having to train on their own. They showed plenty of initiative and got some really good work done there. When we came in, we were only training groups of 10, and for 3 weeks. That was interesting. We actually found that to be a positive. Came to work on different groups, just more coach to player contact, just working on basic skills. And the last 3-4 weeks coming over as a team has been great. But yeah, it's been challenging. Globally, this thing's been challenging, as you can see. It's ongoing around the world. We've had our challenges, but we're just excited to be playing footy again come Friday night up against old New South Wales, and we're hoping it's a fantastic game for everyone to come along and support us here up here in Queensland and for rugby people around Australia.
Absolutely. I can imagine everyone's just keen to get a look at what the Reds might do. Obviously, ready to rip in. Liam, what about travel schedules, recovery, all that stuff that is very new to you guys in terms of the way you manage yourselves throughout the week and then throughout games as well. Have you talked much about that, or is it pretty much bring it on? We'll see how it goes.
We've played a little bit about it, Nick. I think a lot of it is going to suit us. That we've got guys who've come through the club pathway, which is essentially what we're sort of going back to. There's not all the fancy staying in hotels and stuff, and you're just going there to get a job done and play a game of footy, which is back to basics really, in the way it should be. So we're pretty excited for it, and just to get back to doing what we love, which is playing footy, and without all the distractions almost.
Can you just talk about that excitement? I mean, a group of young blokes, you can only train so much, right? If you're not actually out there bashing into with an opposition, it kind of not the real thing. Can you just talk about that excitement you're feeling and the mood in the group?
Yeah, when we came back from isolation, the first few weeks were everyone was just pumped. Pretty tight group up here, and not being able to see each other as much and train with each other, you build certain camaraderie around that group. And when we came back, it was just exciting. We were doing lots of running and stuff, but everyone was just smiling the whole time, just being back together. So now that we should get a chance to rip in, we've done a lot of contact and stuff against each other, which is similar to training. There's only so much you want to do smashing your mates. You want to go out and smash the opposition. So we're really looking forward to taking on New South Wales this Friday.
But if there is an upside to the shutdown, I know you've got to dig pretty deep to find upsides to what we've all been going through. But Hunter Bastami and Harry Wilson, they both tore MCLs the last couple of games before the shutdown. They're good to go again. That's story in itself. Yeah,
it's fantastic to have those guys available. I guess down the track, keeping guys like Jordan Patea, will look to be, might see him around 4 or 5 coming back. So, I guess there's a few teams around the country where there's a few injuries, and I guess, like you said, that's been a real positive. Get those guys back. Hunter was, having a heck of a season, leading into that injury, and Harry Wilson, was playing some outstanding footy. So, but as we said with the points as well, it all starts again, doesn't it? It's a new comp, and it's all in front of us, and I think it's going to be really exciting.
Indeed, it will be. Now, I've got to ask you, I know you were completely over doing those interviews after close losses and have to sort of, we got close, but we didn't quite get there. And I know that you don't like any sort of reference now to this side being a young, developing side. What are the little things that need to happen for your side to take that next step, win those close games, make winning a habit at the Reds?
Just those times in games where we can have times where things are flowing, but there's throughout a game there's flows. Sometimes it's not so much going away, and just keeping that composure, probably the back end of the game, just discipline and focus in that last 20, to get the job done. But any time you get, I guess, an opponent getting on top of an opponent, just learning to put the foot on the throat, I guess, and just, I guess, seeking that ruthlessness of, pushing through a game and getting the result. So, yeah.
And make winning a habit. Liam, one for you. You are a young captain. I imagine the bloke sitting next to you has a fair bit of mentoring around leadership and that sort of thing. But what are you learning, particularly through what you're going through at the moment? What are you learning in terms of leadership, and who are you leaning on in terms of teaching you to be that leader that you want to become?
Yeah, like you said, Nick, Brad's been really good with that. He's picked up a lot through his career on and off the field, and being around and being one of the great leaders in rugby. And so he's always, pulling me aside and giving me little bits of intel, which he's picked up, which I've found really helpful. The whole Queensland Rugby Union's been really good. There's a rich history here. Lots of guys that want to give back to the organisation. You've got guys like Paul Carrozza, who's been in the business here 20 years and, originally took us through these pathways. And, guys like him have been awesome. And there's been a lot of people reaching out. I think John Eales reached out, and we've been using him a fair bit as well in our leadership group to try and lean on him. And one thing I sort of picked up from him is to try and listen a lot more, to take counsel with a lot of people, so that when you, as a leader, you've got to make some tough decisions and to get as much counsel as you can, so that you've got all the information at hand, and then you can choose whether to use it or not, but at least you've got everything in your corner. And so he's been really helpful as well. And I think that's what I'm learning, just trying to pick everyone's brains and get as much out of them as I can. And at the end of the day, it'll help guide my decision.
Yeah, a fair bit of wisdom coming your way by the sounds of things. One last one for you. The Tars, they've been talking up this rivalry. They've had Paul Gallen in there talking about that State of Origin Rugby League rivalry. What does the Queensland-New South Wales rivalry in this game mean to you?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. There's just a huge passion between the states. You've seen in past games, it's a bloodbath, and we really want to do a number on them. Just that whole Queensland State of Origin, it's a close state, like mates with each other. There's people moving up the whole time. But I think once you pull on that Queensland jersey, anyone with that sky blue jersey on becomes an enemy. And are really looking to make the most of that. And I can't wait. It's no better game than to start off at Suncorp against New South Wales with hopefully 25,000 fans or so being allowed there for Friday.
All right, Liam, Brad, thanks so much for your time this afternoon, and go well on Friday night. There's a whole community of rugby fans all around Australia and particularly around the world. Keen to see you guys back in action and Super Rugby back in action in Australia. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good stuff. All right. So that's what's happening at the Red. Now, we are going to try and go back to Rob Simmons, see if we can improve that connection just a little bit. Simmer, I hope you've got me there. The question I was asking, basically, from that playing and training aspect, the logistics as well, everything that you're facing or have faced over the last couple of months, what's it been like, and how much are you looking forward to ripping in?
We're really looking forward to it. We sort of got the opportunity to hit the reset button. We were one of those teams that weren't happy with our performances in the original Super Rugby, and looking forward that we all get to be on zero. And we've been through pretty much a whole other pre-season as a whole team, which is, we didn't get that at the start of the year, people coming back from Wallabies and things like that. But now we've been together for a decent period of time, and the same as every other team. And we get to go out and try what we've been practicing for nearly 8 weeks now, I think.
Yeah, I can imagine, just like Liam Wright was saying, you get to the point where you've trained enough, you just want to rip in. You guys had some pretty high-profile departures at the end of last season, and you were finding your way early doors after those, and now a couple more with Damien Fitzpatrick retiring and Kurtley Beale heading off. But I guess, without talking about those issues as such, what it does do is create great opportunities for young players, and even the side that you've named today. There's some great talent coming through. We're going to get a glimpse of this next generation.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head right at the end there, that it's the next generation of Australian rugby. I think we'll have a lot of the makeup in 6-7 years' time. You'll see a lot of the guys that are playing this competition this year, that they'll be on top of their game, and they'll be the household names to everyone. And it's really exciting to see the guys get a crack now and show what they've got and build on it.
Of course, with a change of Wallaby coach as well, and a new organisational structure coming in there's great opportunities for guys to, make their name and stake a claim.
That's right. We've seen already that, there's no reputations will be considered. It's all going to be done on form, and he said that out loud. And, now we're going to be back in rugby. That's the exciting part. We can't wait to get out there and find some form.
And one last one for you, and I mentioned to the Reds boys that you've had Paul Gallen in talking about what State of Origin has meant to him over the years. You, having played 100 games for the Reds, you have this innate knowledge of the rivalry from both sides of the fence. What did Paul Gallen say to you that really resonated?
He brought up the New South Wales Queensland thing, but his big thing was sort of how he approached his career. Preparation that he did the week before, that when he went out on the field, that there wasn't decisions to make. He'd done the work, and then he just applied what he knew and did the best to his ability, and really harped on about how important it is to individually prepare for a game to then do your role within the team. I think that resonated with a lot of our guys.
All right, we are looking very much forward to the Tars getting back in action. It's a great way to start, isn't it? The Waratahs and the Reds on Friday night. Rob Simmons, thanks for your time. Go well.
Thank you.
All right, Rob Simmons there, the captain of the Waratahs. And again, if you have only just joined us, this is the official launch for Super Rugby Australia, Super Rugby AU, live on Rugby.com.au's page. Now on Saturday night, 7:15 in Canberra, it'll be the Brumbies, who were the form side of the Australian Conference before the shutdown. They are hosting Melbourne Rebels. Now, the Brumbies coach is Dan McKellar, and their captain is Alan Alatoa. Gentlemen, welcome to you. Dan, whatever you guys were doing before the shutdown, I'm sure you would have loved to have been able to bottle that. I'm guessing you've got a pretty good handle on what was working for you. Can you pick up where you left off?
Oh, we haven't played in 4 months, so I don't think we'll be putting too much pressure on ourselves, Nick, in terms of trying to mirror what we did on March 15th against the Tars. Like we did in the first 6 or 7 weeks, we just got to make sure we get our preparation right from one day to the next. And we know that if we do that, being a reasonably young group, that we generally will perform off the back of it.
Nice. Al, we've just heard from Rob Simmons and also from Liam Wright as to how their players have handled it, which is so unprecedented. What about your guys? We've seen you have a fair bit of fun on social media. Have you been able to keep those spirits up and just enjoy that time off where that hunger to play rugby's been there, but not available to you?
Yeah, man, Nick. I think, mate, as you said, the boys came back from isolation and we're all just keen to get back in and train together. I think it was natural for the boys to come in and be excited. But over this preseason block, locking in that this new Super Rugby draw, it's brought that excitement back in terms of getting ready for game week. So in terms of preparation for this week, it's been great. Boys are excited, but I think more importantly, boys are grateful for the opportunity, to be back out here again, playing the game we love, and you've got to give credit to, the people that were involved in the medical, department there and involved in the community, for the sacrifices that they've made, but just exciting, grateful, is the feeling that we have here in Canberra.
Yeah, nice. I'm sure the fans are just as hungry as the players as well. There's a lot to look forward to. Dan, the law changes, what are they going to bring to the game? I'm sure that you and your team have been scheming as to how to best utilise them. What can we expect the effect of those law changes to be?
I think potentially a little bit more kicking, attacking kicks in and around the 22. Obviously now not being able to mark from a kick that originates in the 22, so that's that's obviously another tool of the kit. Your 10s or your playmakers can use. It'll be interesting to see. It's sort of there's been no trial games played, so it's hard to get a gauge on how teams will adjust. I think the more you train, the more games you've got on board, see space and opportunity to take advantage of 22-50 or a 50-22, whatever it might be. I think that's the crux of it. It'll develop as the competition goes along. And I think the big ones from what we've seen in New Zealand is just the interpretation around the backdown. There's been some high penalty counts, some good footy, no doubt, but some high penalty counts early, and I think the Australian Super Rugby comp will benefit off the back of that. Players have been able to witness that and watch, observe, and understand that as players and coaches, we've got a role to play there. And then see the referees understanding that there's got to be a balance somewhere in the middle. So it's which is a good thing for us, because the last thing we want is 30-plus penalties Saturday night.
Indeed. And like I was just talking about with Rob as well, talking about opportunities for young players. And Dan, you guys had, some of the real star not only Australian Super Rugby, but some young stars of the whole competition before shutdown. There's great opportunity for a couple of your guys to really stake a claim now, isn't there?
I think so. I think for all the players, young and old, some of the young guys, obviously Noah's got a bit of publicity. Tommy Wright, Sony, whilst he's been around Australian rugby a while, it's, he's only into his second year of consistent Super Rugby, and those guys really stood up and played well. I think some of the older players and more experienced players have been outstanding as well over the break, with that motivation to just get better and better. And I think the exciting part is a new Wallaby coaching group there. Dave stressed players that he'll pick on form. Wazzy and Patsy are thinking the same. So, there's jerseys up for grabs there. And from one week to the next, it's a Wallaby trial, isn't it? So, which is great for the players and obviously for fans and supporters as well. We want that local derbies and that tribalism, and we're certainly going to get that each week.
Exactly right. And on that note, Al, I'll give you the last say. The crowds aren't back yet, but you guys are going to have fans around the world. Everyone's just so hungry for rugby. What are the Brumbies going to deliver on Saturday night?
I think firstly, we're expecting a physical battle up front. But in terms from our end, we're just looking to put out, an entertaining game. Not only for the fans who are available to come out, GIO Stadium, but for everyone that's missed it, especially in our Canberra community that we know will definitely tune in, come Saturday night at 7:15. But in terms from our end, mate, we're looking for a physical battle up front, which we know we'll get against the Rebels, and then we have the spark in our backline, to deliver that entertainment.
Good on you, Al. Thanks so much. Thanks, Dan, for joining us. Go well on Saturday night against the Rebels.
Thanks, Nick. Good to see you, mate.
Good stuff. Good to be with you. All right. As I mentioned, the Brumbies' opponents on Saturday night are the Rebels, whose season has been really thrown a curveball with what's been happening in Melbourne with the coronavirus. They're based in Canberra at the moment. After that, wow, who knows? Dave Vessels is their coach. Dane Haylett-Petty is their captain. Dave, terrific to have you guys on board. I will start with you. It is a strange season already. Probably just got a bit stranger for you guys. What do the next few weeks look like for the Melbourne Rebels?
Hard to say, Nick. Hard to say. But we've been very well looked after in Canberra, and we're actually probably just enjoying spending some time together as a group. So from that point of view, it's actually been quite fun. And I think probably in reality, compared to what a lot of people are going through, our inconvenience is already quite small. So and the boys have approached that in a really positive way.
Yeah, I think you're spot on about that. I'm liking that ISO haircut as well. It's very nice. Dane, I'm guessing it's become part of your job, really. Well, both of you probably. It's try and keep the focus of the playing group on playing. There's just so much else going on and letting others worry about the logistics. How have you done that? And what do you do day to day to make sure that the players are absolutely focused on the job?
I think it hasn't actually been too hard. Obviously, this isolation, this break that we've had off, sometimes takes something being taken away for you to realise how much you miss doing what we do. And I think the boys are just really excited about playing rugby again. So at this stage, it hasn't really been too hard. Everyone came back in amazing shape. We've ripped in for this second pre-season now, and I feel like the intensity's gone up again this week with game week. And everyone's looking forward to playing some rugby again.
And you guys had a pretty slow start, didn't you, Dane? To the season, I guess early on you weren't particularly happy. Then you just got a sense that things were starting to click for the Rebels. Can we expect you to kind of hit your straps a little bit sooner this time round?
I think this season, obviously, if we could have had those first two games again, we would love them. And now we get an opportunity. Not too often you get a chance to have another crack at it. But I think we definitely had a bigger focus this season on building each and every week and just getting better, as opposed to probably the intensity that we came out of the blocks with in the two seasons before and kind of fell away. And we really felt like we're building some really good momentum until we had to obviously stop. But yeah, I think hopefully pick up where we left off and continue to build.
Yeah, the opportunity is there, that's for sure. Dave, like most teams, you've had a bit of player movement. But the new arrivals are really interesting. A couple of the 7 stars. Can you tell me how they've fitted in and how much of an impact can they have early on?
No, I was saying to someone this morning, Nick, that I've probably been really, we were expecting big things from them. They're quite high-profile players, and to be honest, they probably exceeded those expectations. So, they're probably both in the way that they've just fitted into the team, but also what good athletes they are. So, they've added a lot, and certainly there'll be guys that we'll be trying to hang on to long term. I think, like most teams,
talking about, of course, Louis Holland and Jarrell Skelton. Jarrell Skelton, there's a real buzz about him, isn't there?
Yeah, and we've got Lockie Anderson as well, who's been really impressive too. So Jarrell's already signed with us for next year, so he'll be staying with us longer term. And as I say, we'd love to keep the other 2 guys because I think they've just been really, really, really great fit for us.
All right, and that consistency that I've touched on with Dane, have you thought about that? I know you've been thinking about it probably for the last couple of years. That it's been a topsy-turvy couple of years. Have you changed anything to have a renewed focus on that?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I think I think rightly so. People are saying that the Brumbies are potentially the favourite, but of course, a year ago at the same point in the competition, we were in that same boat. We'd had a great start, and Super Rugby's a long season, and a lot can change, and the margins are fine too. So just a little bit of momentum here and there can really change the outcome. We're excited to start again. I think the group's in a really great space. As Dane said, we probably had 16 guys come back and run personal bests in their testing after isolation, which I think shows a real motivation in the group to do things away from coaches and the pressure of the S&C staff to actually do the work just for yourself, which means that you care. And so hopefully that's reflected in our performances.
Yeah, we'll see the fruits of that this weekend. Finally to you, Dane, and I imagine the Rebels fans being as fanatical as they are, there'll be a few watching this afternoon. What can they expect from a very hungry Rebels side first up on Saturday night?
I think probably us showing just how much the fans mean to us, and just how much we love playing footy. I think this first round, with a great rivalry with the Brumbies, you're going to see a whole lot of intensity and a whole lot of feeling in it. So apart from that, we're hoping to play some really attacking rugby and something the fans can enjoy.
Good stuff. Dave Vessels, Dane Haylett-Petty, thanks very much for your time this afternoon. It's going to be great to see you back in action this weekend. Good luck in Canberra, and indeed good luck over the next few weeks.
Thanks, Nick.
Cheers. All right. And again, you are watching the launch of Super Rugby AU, which I'm very pleased to say will be coming your way on Friday and Saturday night, with the final to be played on September 19. So there is a lot to look forward to, a lot of rugby to look forward to over the next couple of months. Every game live on Fox Sports. And thanks for being with us today on Rugby.com.au's Facebook page. And watching intently this weekend will be the team with the first bye, the Western Force, coached by Tim Sampson and captained by Ian Pryor. Gentlemen, welcome. Terrific to catch up with you and have the Western Force as a part of this. Tim, to you first. It's been such a long wait for Perth rugby fans to see the Force back in Super Rugby, such a passionate and loyal supporter base. What does it mean to the people of Perth to have you guys back in the mix?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Means a lot, mate. Yeah, and it has been a long time coming. It probably does seem long as only 2.5 years ago, from the back end of 2017. But it means so much, Nick, that they haven't gone away. That they've been so passionate towards us over the past couple of years. That it's a great supporter base we've got here, and over the recent weeks, we've received some really kind emails and messages from the members and the Sea of Blue, and I think that just gives us that extra bit of motivation as well, mate, just to perform well for our fans.
Yeah, and Ian, I'm guessing the players are just as pleased to be back in the mix. There's been an injection of experience. Some players returning from overseas. A blonde Jono Lance, obviously. Got really bored in ISO, so he's turned up blonde. And Greg Holmes, how big is that for the Force to have that level of experience coming back and being a part of what's about to happen?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Obviously, I amongst playing group, like the other guys have chatted about, a lot of excitement. I think obviously we're very privileged to be able to do what we love for a living, and like Dane said, to have that sort of taken away from you for a few months makes you realise how much you love it. So all the players have been working hard, as well as the coaches, to make sure we're right to go, and then obviously the injection of that experience. A guy like Greg Holmes, champion in Super Rugby, champion over with Exeter there as well. Kyle Godwin's gone around the world, got some experience. John Lance, the same calibre, a bit of a rogue haircut, like he said. Hopefully he can fix it up before round one. But yeah, man, there's just a lot of excitement around the building, and I think it's just a huge moment for this club and organisation after the couple of years that Sambo touched on to be back, and probably a feel-good story for Australian rugby. Having the 5 professional entities competing against each other week to week is going to be fantastic. So,
yeah, absolutely agree. Hey, just on Greg Holmes, have you ever seen him? You've known him for a long time. Have you ever seen him in better shape than he's in at the moment? I saw him the other day. He looks like a pure athlete. Not that he didn't before, but he looks like a total athlete.
I think Sambo played with him a bit as well, so that shows how long he's been around. So yeah, he's in incredible nick. He's come back and he's ready to go, mate. He's an absolute professional, and we're excited to see what he can do out there for us.
And Ian, I'll stay with you. What can rugby fans expect from the Force? I mean, I think that everyone's just sitting wondering what you're going to bring to the table. You've had a glimpse of what the teams have been saying earlier. What can we expect from you guys?
Yeah, I think just across the board, obviously the new rules, are going with attacking rugby and giving that team a chance to sort of to really play with the ball and give yourself a good chance there. A couple of the variations and manipulating the defensive line there should open up just space for teams to exploit, which is really exciting. And I think obviously just cleaning up the breakdown like Dan McKellar touched on there. So, the decision comes straight away, whether you're attacking or defensively, we get a decision there and we can move on and play. Is really exciting. So we've had a few law variations through Global Rugby and obviously NRC, and we've had to adjust there. So we like to think we've had to deal with a few variations before, and hopefully we can exploit those in the coming weeks.
No doubt. And Tim, finally, I'm guessing that you will be, and your Brains Trust, I would imagine, will be paying very close attention to Friday night, because the Tars, they're in action against the Reds, but they're your first game on July 11. How closely do you run the eye over what they bring on Friday night?
Oh yeah, totally. Nick will probably review that game pretty hard. And first and foremost, it's just great to see some all the Australian teams playing back on our televisions. Looking forward to it, to sitting on the couch at home and watching some rugby. So we'll review, mate, as we normally do, and looking forward to some quality games. And I think as we've and some of the other coaches have touched on, it's sort of starting like an even playing field. It's been so long since games were last played. So just hoping for a really entertaining weekend of rugby, mate, and it's what we all love to do and watch. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're all the same. We can't wait. Hey, to both of you, just want to say welcome back. A lot of rugby fans throughout Australia. I'm so pleased that the Force are back in the mix, and we all wish you all the best for the coming months.
Thanks, Nick.
Cheers,
Appreciate
Nick.
it.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
All right, Tim Sampson and Ian Pryor there from the Western Force. And that brings us to an end of the launch of Super Rugby AU. Every game live on Fox Sports. The wait is almost over. The Reds and the Tars to get things started on Friday night in Brisbane. I'm Nick McArdle. We'll see you soon.